War is over, came the cry, spreading the news in Gaza City, waking people with the sound of hope. It is too early to really say whether peace has arrived, but that didn't stop the celebrations, for it has never felt so close during the past 2 years. We've had the happiest night of sleep since October 7th, says this woman. This night was happy for us and for everybody. On the other side of the border in Tel Aviv, they sang as news filtered through that the remaining living hostages are set to be released by Hamas over the coming days. Hours earlier, the mother and sister of one hostage were in tears as it was announced a deal was close. Who gives him a hug first, you or me? Together? My word, it's crazy. Signs of an imminent agreement began last night when President Trump was passed a message.
The Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East and they're going to need me pretty quickly.
Then came the post on his Truth Social network. I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. Blessed are the peacemakers. This morning, delegates at the peace talks being held in Egypt embraced, among them Khalil al-Hayya, head of the Hamas delegation, on the left. Under the plan, Israel will release Palestinian prisoners and withdraw its troops to a predefined line closer to the border. And Hamas will hand over the living hostages, arguably the most significant step as it removes almost all Hamas's remaining leverage for negotiations. President Trump delivered the news to the families of the hostages himself.
The hostages will come back. They're all coming back on Monday.
Those in Gaza have seen talks before come and fail, but this time there is real optimism. Or at least optimistic realism. This paramedic says, to be honest, I didn't really expect the negotiations to succeed, so we didn't really pay attention. Suddenly, the news came out that a ceasefire deal was being agreed, and we are waiting. This displaced man says, we want to go home, to tend to our affairs, to check on our homes, even though there are no more homes. The first phase of President Trump's 20-point plan is key, but there are many complexities that will need to be navigated, including whether Hamas will really agree to disarm. But for today, at least, a rare moment of celebration, of hope, in a region scarred, physically and mentally, by the past 2 years. Sam Holder, ITV News.
Let's join our international editor then, Emma Murphy, in Egypt, where those talks have been taking place. Emma, we have been here before. We've seen some hostages released, then we've seen the war resume. This time, will it be different?
Yes, I think there is a sense this time that there is an awful lot more weight given to this resolution, and there is a feeling that there is enough pressure that it should be able to be kept in place. But of course, there is great fear that it may not be. I think the reality is that this time it comes with the full weight of the US government and in particular Donald Trump behind it. And he is the one man with enough power and leverage, particularly over Israel, in order to try and force this through to a longer term peace. And of course, we also have the involvement of the Arab nations who have worked closely with Hamas to try and force them to find some level of agreement that, though potentially not particularly tolerable to them because they have pretty much signed the end of their controlling Gaza, at least they know that they have managed to sign a deal that will make things easier for the Palestinian people. I've been speaking to a number of friends and colleagues there over this morning, and without question, there is a great relief that there is the hope of peace now. But I think I also detect a huge exhaustion and that fear. They want this war to be part of their past, but they are fearful that it may yet resurrect itself in their future.
Emma, thank you. Dan Rivers, our US correspondent, joins me now from Washington. Dan, has President Trump succeeded where Biden failed?
Well, we'll have to wait and see, if this goes all the way through. But certainly he has got further than President Biden had done. This is pretty similar, really, to the deal that Joe Biden had on the table in May of last year. Of course, the way in which it was announced was just classic Donald Trump theatre, wasn't it? A sort of made-for-TV moment when his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, came up and whispered in his ear as he was talking about domestic issues, and then passed him this note saying he had to approve a social media post announcing this deal. And then, lo and behold, just before 7 p.m. last night, we got that announcement. But, look, this is just phase one. I think, as Emma has suggested there is a need for caution. There's an awful lot of moving parts which need to move in the same direction for this to go through. I think one of the reasons that he was able to pressure Benjamin Netanyahu was that botched attack by the Israelis on the Hamas negotiating team in Qatar in September infuriated the Americans, and I think led to some pretty blunt exchanges between Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. At one point, Netanyahu apparently, it was reported, was going to reject this deal, and Trump told him not to be so swear word negative. So some pretty frank exchanges of views, huge pressure as well on Hamas from both Turkey and Qatar to take this deal and get it over the line. But look, Trump may be motivated by trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize. That might be a stretch, but certainly at the moment he's going to be very buoyed by having just simply got this far. But let's see what happens after phase one.
Dan, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, world leaders have welcomed the news, including the UK Prime Minister, who said it was a moment of profound relief. He was speaking in India during a two-day trade mission. Our political correspondent Carl Dinnan has been travelling with him.
Yes, that's right. The Prime Minister is wrapping up his trade mission to India today here in downtown Mumbai in the business district, where he has been meeting the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Of course, the Prime Minister welcomed the peace deal for Gaza. This is what he had to say a little earlier.
This is a moment of profound relief that we felt around the world, but particularly for the hostages, their families, and for the civilian population of Gaza, who have all endured unimaginable suffering over the last 2 years.
Of course, this is most important for the people of Gaza and the hostage families, as the Prime Minister said, but I think he will also be glad that this conflict, which has been so divisive around the world, including in the UK, may be coming to an end, and that some of those divisions may start to be able to heal. But these are early steps, and the Prime Minister went on to say that the rest of the deal had to be implemented in full, including the immediate lifting of restrictions on life-saving humanitarian aid to Gaza. And he said that the UK would stand by to help the process in whatever way it could. But today is just the first stage, and the Prime Minister here in Mumbai has welcomed it.
Carl Dinnan reporting. I'm joined now by Sharon Lifshitz, whose parents were both taken hostage during the October 7th attacks. Her mother, Yocheved, was released a few weeks after the attacks in 2023, but 2 years on, so many others are still, as we know, being held in Gaza. Tragically, her father, Oded, was murdered in captivity after being held for more than 500 days. His body was released by Hamas as part of a previous deal to return some of the hostages. He was a journalist and campaigner for peace. His daughter is here with me now. Are you holding your breath or breathing a sigh of relief for the other families just desperate for news?
We are eagerly awaiting the return of the live hostages, first of all, because the live hostages are our top priority, and then every family that, hopefully all the family, to get the remains of their loved ones. It's massive.
And on those hostages who have been killed in Gaza, what do you think the hopes are of getting those bodies back?
We are told that it's going to be difficult to locate some of the remains, and that's a very daunting prospect, I must admit. But the fact that we will be at the stage at which there are teams looking in earnest for the remains, in which the live hostages are back in Israel with their families, this is huge. This is what we have campaigned for 2 years and 2 days for.
Describe that moment that you had when you were reunited with your mother.
My mum was asleep when I first saw her, 5 a.m. I travelled from the UK. When she arrived, I saw her, you know, on the TV with the rest of the world. I wasn't surprised by her turning back and shaking the hand, because it's my mum. She's formidable, she's strong, she can see the human even in the most horrendous situations. It's a really complicated thing to try and recover from such an ordeal, to campaign endlessly. I really look forward to my mum having the ability to rebuild a life away from the campaign for returning the other hostages. She continually says that as long as there are hostages in the tunnels, she's there with them.
How did she react to the news this morning?
She, I think all of us, we kind of giddy. We don't know ourselves almost outside this campaign. It hasn't happened yet. So it's apprehensive, but it is, I hope it happens, and it will be a huge relief.
The giddiness is palpable. This time, have you got the hope that once those hostages are returned, this will be the beginning of the end of this war?
I think it's supposed to be a permanent ceasefire, and I hope it is. There's a lot of work, and a lot of families like ours that lost loved ones, and our feeling is always a mix of joy and pain. It will be amazing to feel that all those who could return alive returned. Many more could have returned if that deal was done over a year ago or 2 years ago. My father could have been back. Many families could have had their loved ones, and many families in Gaza could have have their loved ones' life saved. It's untold suffering. Many parts of it were really unnecessary.
And unbearable. Sharon Lifshitz, thank you very much for coming in to talk to us on what we hope will be a crucial day. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.